Yep.
Hey, what's up, peeps?
Hi, everyone. Hope you haven't missed us too much. Let's see. What do we have on store for you this week? Well, we've written a little more down, and we're going to try a little bit of a different structure, be a little bit more prepared.
Mm-hmm.
And this week's topic is...
Snickety, 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 snick.
Snakes! Wolverine! Yeah, badass, yeah!
Yeah, shall I call you Logan, Weapon X?
Nah, Logan at the least.
Wolverine.
Yeah. Oh. And we also brought some refreshment with us.
Mm-hmm. The Communal Geek Thoughts Mountain Dew.
Communal?
Yeah.
The hell, man. Oh.
Dudes, we're brothers. It's not weird.
No, yeah. Well, maybe not for you. All right.
Okay, yeah, let's get to Wolverine.
Get down to business right here. What is it J.R. says? Let's get down to business. Business pickup, yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, Wolverine, one of the iconic comic book characters of all time, probably Marvel's Batman in a lot of ways, which...
In a lot of ways. I mean, Daredevil, would probably be Marvel's Batman. I'm trying to think.
Thematically, power-wise, certain ways, but we'll talk a little bit more about that later. When we're going to try and hit on some things with Wolverine that most geeks don't really think about or don't really talk about. So if we miss anything that you might have been expecting,
I mean, Wolverine's cool. We've been steadily reading him since we got into comic books, and he's been a Marvel stalwart.
Which would be way back. My theory is, I think at least we've been Wolverine fans since the John Byrne days when you were still in the womb.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway, Wolverine, adamantium skeleton, though, not all the time though. No.
No.
In the 90s.
Yeah, in the 90s he had a bone skeleton.
Yeah.
And bone claws.
Yes, because Magneto stripped him of his adamantium and tried to kill him, and that led into the whole onslaught thing. So there was a couple good years there where Wolverine did not have adamantium. And today everyone's familiar with the idea of messing with his healing factor, but his bones were messed with, and that's what we grew up on. That's what we know.
When we were being read on comic books, he had bone claws, and he was feral. I mean, after
it mutated him. It accelerated his mutation. You found out the adamantium was actually holding back something.
Yeah.
And the common debate back then was bones versus adamantium.
Well, you got to go back to adamantium. I mean, he's had the adamantium claws the longest. I mean, bone claws probably started as just a gimmick, like killing Superman or breaking Batman's back or
killing Green Arrow.
Yeah,
Aquaman not having a hand.
Mm-hmm.
Just about everything in the 90s. Let's see.
It was so gimmicky. 0 Hour was so cool, though. I mean,
Maximum Carnage, Clonage, Clone Saga, and Spider-Man having a symbiote. Pretty much everything in Spider-Man happened at once. But
Green Arrow having a kid. Hal Jordan having a kid. Kyle Rayner.
Yeah. Kyle Rayner wasn't his son.
Really?
Yeah. I thought Guy Gardner was his dad.
Oh. No, I mean, Guy Gardner is everyone's daddy.
Yeah. Who's your daddy?
Guy Gardner. And Wolverine.
Yeah, bub. And in the 90s, Marvel properties were hot, but not in theaters so much. We had that failed attempts at Captain America and Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
Roger Corman just couldn't get his hands off anything.
Oh, my geek heart loves that movie.
And
part of my heart, Matt Salinger will always be Captain America.
And his rubber ears.
Oh.
But cartoons and portrayals, Marvel in the 90s, it was mostly about cartoons and Fox Kids.
The X-Men animated show was the bee's knees, peeps.
The first one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's actually where, side note, Days of Future Past, which was not really much of anything, it was a two-part story in the 80s when it came out, but the cartoon is what rewrote everything and introduced Bishop and Cable and everybody into this whole scheme.
Riley Armstrong, okay. Back.
Yes. That's our music quota, our budget for the week.
Yeah.
You've just gone over budget. Do you realize that?
I should turn off my phone while filming. I apologize.
Yes. We're probably gonna keep it in, but
yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So cartoons, Marvel in the 90s, and some of you may know, some of you may not know. Wolverine was played in the. Don't panic.
There you
Okay.
go.
I
Okay.
hope they didn't see that.
No.
Anyway, a Canadian actor by the name of Cal Dodd was the one who played
Yes, his
Wolverine.
voice will be. His voice is still the voice I have in my head when I'm reading Wolverine comics. I mean, Hugh Jackman occasionally, but Cal Dodd always just seeps in there. And just, I
Hmm
mean, he
He
was
just had that.
iconic.
He had a snarl about him. He was just really, really. Just he could sound really fierce and feral.
Can I get an honorable mention to whoever played Wolverine in the Pride of the X-Men VHS tape?
Yeah,
Like, he was Australian,
yeah,
Don't worry about us, Dingo. I'll be sure we can.
or whatever he said.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, yeah, back to Keldon. I mean, that, when you're reared on, the cartoons we had as kids were fabulous. I mean, Wolverine was basically the star of that show.
Very complex storylines. Yeah, that's probably what one of the things that pushed him into the stratosphere, and they made it so. I mean, they really had a soft spot in their hearts for him. Plus, Cyclops, Boy Scout, he really doesn't have much going for him. He hasn't really come into his own until lately in the comics.
Yeah, yeah, Havoc too now. Now he's got his own Avengers team. And, yeah, Cyclops is like the mutant, Che Guevara. There are
Hmm
Quentin Quire has a Cyclops was right T-shirt and stuff.
Yeah. See, I like Cyclops now, but in the '90s, I felt like Sinister. Why is he messing with Cyclops and Jean Grey? Just go after
Oh,
Wolverine. He seems to be perfect.
I love that blue costume too that he
Mm.
had with the like the I don't know if it was the yellow bandolier and the stuff, and him and Wolverine were both in the
We're talking about Cyclops.
best game of the '90s. X-Men Mutant Apocalypse.
Yes.
Wolverine had such killer combos like an uppercut and a dashing claw,
Mhm.
and Cyclops you forego the optic blast, crescent kick,
Yeah. No, you don't forego the Optic
dead.
Blast.
Well, yeah.
No. Since we just transitioned into video games, let's talk about that for a little bit. The best games and the ones that featured Wolverine the most in the '90s were the Capcom games.
Mm-hmm.
War of the Gems, X-Men. There
Yep.
was that Sega game of X-Men I never got to play, but I hear it was X-Men for Sega Genesis.
Oh, they had a lot. They had the Game Master was for Sega. They had Rise of the only one I seem to remember is the Game Master,
Mm.
and then Adamantium Rage.
Oh, Adamantium
Wolverine had a
Rage.
solo NES game too.
Yeah. God, what
I
should we
loved
start with on
Adamantium
that
Rage.
one?
It was so good. Wolverine could
That's just
climb
you.
on the ceiling and stuff.
Yeah. Is that worth the price of admission? No.
The cinema scenes were kind of trippy, and I loved them.
The
That's
cinema
why
scenes were great. The bosses were
Cyber,
great. But what was with that stupid? Okay, your energy was a percentile scale, right?
Mhm.
And the gameplay was so stiff and so crappy, and you were chased by LCD. And if you didn't complete the mission, which was impossible in itself, and then if you didn't, she would creep up to you and blow you up. So lame. I did not enjoy that game at all.
Different strokes for different folks. I spent plenty of hours on that game.
But you never beat it, did you?
No, I never beat it.
We've also
Says-
never beat.
Arcade's Revenge?
We never beat Arcade's
Yeah.
Revenge. Yes, that was good. Now Arcade's Revenge, I will give a passing grade to.
Yeah, I mean, the Wolverine stages
Just keep
were
talking.
somewhat simple. Juggernaut was the second stage, and
Mhm.
Wolverine had to
Never beat that.
claw through walls. Yeah, I never beat, I tried, NES Game Atlas, online, still never.
Oh, there's a cheat code
managed.
somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody beat it and somebody figured it out. And if they haven't, damn Nintendo, they tricked us. They got the best of us.
Mhm.
And Arcade won.
Yeah, the thing about, Adamant, not to get off to the side here, but
Not too much.
adamantium in the comic books was supposed to be this rare item that you couldn't get. Now every thug has it. Bullseye has an adamantium spine. For a while, Stiltman had adamantium legs. And it's like kryptonite in the DC universe.
Mhm.
I mean, every thug could get his hand on kryptonite when it should be rare.
Yeah. What would be awesome is if like the Lasso of Truth had like a black market. And if like every thug got his hand on a Lasso of Truth would be so great. Or maybe some deceptive version of it, the opposite, the Lasso of Lies or
Yeah.
something. And coming from the 90s and into the 21st century, I mean, you had a new, like we can go back to voice for a little bit. You have a new guy playing Wolverine now, who's pretty much the Kevin Conroy Wolverine, and he has plenty to be proud of that. In the 90s, he was playing a bit of a Batman character in Big O, but Steve Blum.
Steve Bloom, yeah.
is now the voice of
He has
Wolverine.
been doing it in the Marvel direct-to-DVD movies, right?
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, and
and the cartoons.
him and
If you're watching Disney XD and the Marvel block, and you happen to see
mhm.
Wolverine in an episode, chances are he's in it.
Special shout out to Fred Tatasciore as the Hulk.
Yes.
He's badass.
Yeah, there's no other Hulk.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we thought Lou Ferrigno was awesome, but man, where'd this guy come from?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And in the 21st century, Wolverine is perhaps most famous. He's on the map now because of the Marvel movies, the spate, the
Yeah.
success, and just Hugh Jackman being so married to that character. I mean, it's like for him to stop playing Wolverine would be like getting a divorce.
You could say Hugh
in a
Jackman.
Catholic marriage.
That Wolverine made Hugh Jackman a star, and vice versa. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
his Wolverine is good. I mean, a lot of fanboy, he's tall and handsome, whereas Wolverine is supposed to be, short and kind of
Yeah. Hairy and diminutive.
hairy and diminutive, monstrous kind of. But
Yeah, which is why in the 90s, which is you might have preferred at first somebody like Dougray Scott was originally going to play him, and like where's Dougray Scott today?
oh, if I had $1 billion, I would have them remake the original X-Men movie, script and all, with Dougray Scott, just to see how it would go.
Yeah,
That's what Bill Gates should do.
and someone who's really hairy and Canadian could have played Wolverine. Elias Koteas.
Yes.
He's a good actor. He's a good actor. He's a beast.
His class is Pain 101. Your instructor is Casey Jones.
Tough rocks, pal.
Yeah.
Or someone who's mean and Canadian. Chris Benoit could have played him too. Chris Benoit. Or wait, no, we didn't mention that. Technically, he does not exist anymore.
Yeah, technically not, no.
So no.
I mean, but
no.
he would be a savage Wolverine. He would hang his foes from a bowflex.
Yes. We did not mention this.
Sorry, guys.
My fault. My bad. Moo moo. But it was Blade that opened the doors for Marvel, but it's X-Men that put it on the map. I think that's the one time. I remember we have a Marvel companion over there that's bound in leather. We're not going to show it to you. That said, like, X-Men put Fox Kids on the map before Power Rangers, which is not true. I mean, they had the right idea around cartoon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Batman animated series.
Mm-hmm. But everyone still loves the X-Men cartoon. We love Batman just that much more because he's Batman.
Yeah, I mean, Wolverine's hip with the the scenarios of comic book superhero versus superhero. One of the ones you hear most often is Wolverine versus Batman. And I've had my share of debates. I'm trying to defend Batman, but
Batman could beat him
Wolverine
with a giant
would-
magnet.
Wolverine would hunt him down, and his healing factor means that he's not going to get tired. And there's only so many times you could say, oh, he's going to take the Batwing and throw him into space, or run him over with the Batmobile.
Yeah. Or maybe he'll just do like Punisher did in Punisher Kills the Marvel Universe and, find a stray generator somewhere in an alley.
Yeah, electricity. Although, an interesting thing that
I didn't buy that, though.
An interesting thing that I never thought of before that Paul Cornell was doing in Wolverine is Wolverine was fearing for his mortality, and drowning is a way to kill Wolverine. Because, you're underwater, you keep breathing, he'll there's no place where he can sit and heal because, if you're drowning, you're constantly taking in water. It's a scary way to go.
Yeah. Or a vat of acid was always my solution. Which that's how everybody's gonna die.
If he gets out, he'll start to heal. I mean, in one of the new Scarlet Spiders, Scarlet Spider stabbed him through the heart with his awesome thing.
Yeah,
that he's got.
Yeah.
And
not to worry.
Beast was even saying I can hear his heart reknitting itself, and he pounded him in the chest and yeah. Wolverine could possibly be unkillable.
Does that count though? That's like when Marrow beat Wolverine by stabbing him in the neck with that huge chunk of bone. That doesn't count. He fulfilled
his contract, by the way. You gotta let Scarlet Spider off the hook.
Yeah.
He killed Wolverine. Yeah. If he came back to life, whatever.
Kane's killed everybody. Grim Hunter, Dr. Octopus. You can just add Wolverine to that.
Mm-hmm.
Who did he killed Lance Bannon? Maybe.
Prasad. Oh, I hate you.
Yeah.
Bring back Lance Bannon.
Yes. We're still upset about that.
Mm-hmm.
Who else did Kane kill? Did he kill anyone else? He tried to kill Ben Reilly, but he didn't. Green Goblin did that.
Lost Years, Kane.
Who was that cop? He killed a cop or somebody, and that's why Ben Reilly was so.
His lover was a cop. Yeah, Kennedy was her name. I can't remember the first name, but he ended up killing her too.
Anyway, as Wolverine has come back to life many times, back to this topic. Anyway, it's endless. It seems like Hugh Jackman's played Wolverine forever, and we'll probably
Hmm.
get the same from Tom Hiddleston as Loki. Don't segue into any Loki comments, please. Yes. And the latest Wolverine, we're not going to spoil too much for you, but it was great. I loved it. He hasn't seen it yet.
No, I haven't seen it yet. I'm gonna go sometime. Let's see.
Not if I have anything to say about it.
You didn't like it?
No, I just don't want you to like it.
Yeah. Okay.
So, uh, it's really Wolverine that's become the star of the show. And if there's an MVP of the Marvel franchises outside Iron Man,
Mm,
is it Wolverine? Are we glad it's this character?
yeah, I mean, I read somewhere that most of the Marvel characters that came in the '60s are still around. Daredevil, Spider-Man, Hulk, Thor, the Fantastic Four. Um, there's a scant few characters in the '70s that are actually still being published today. Wolverine is definitely king of the hill in that regard. A couple others I can probably come up with are Ghost Rider and Punisher.
Nova on and off.
Yeah, Nova on and off.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wolverine has stood the test of time. Character created in the '70s still published today. Usually, anyone after the '60s couldn't gain traction, but Wolverine absolutely did. You know?
And that justice? Can we consider Wolverine Marvel's Batman if he's not that old? Really, he's old in the comics, but he's not that old.
I mean, there's a resurgence going on with Wolverine. The Savage Wolverine is great. Paul Cornell's a genius. Or I think I got those confused. But Wolverine, Paul Cornell, genius writer. Savage Wolverine was the one they started with Frank Cho, and now Zeb Wells and Joe Mad are doing
Yeah,
that. So okay,
he's in the Savage
yeah.
Land for whatever reason.
Reading
It
both,
takes place
love
as
them
an
both.
alternate timeline.
I mean,
The books are great today. They're Marvel writing. I can't say enough good things about comics today and just who's out there. Very many talented writers, artists, give and take.
yeah, I mean Alan Davis with Wolverine. John Byrne was great on Wolverine.
John Byrne was great in Superman too.
Herb Trimp draw the first one? I mean, to think,
Yes,
Wolverine could
because
have
he was
been
drawing the Hulk at the time.
a
Yeah,
throwaway
I love Herb Trimp
Hulk character, and he could have been Zax or Loudmouth or
Yeah.
Hulk.
Motor Mouth,
Smash.
or the Madman
I mean,
guy.
Hulk's Rogues Gallery is a joke. Really, he doesn't have thing, but Wolverine's
Except
Rogues.
for the missing link.
Missing Link's cool. I mean, if you can name 5 good villains for a character, I think that would do them justice, and they have a lot more. Wolverine, we could try to name 5. Go.
Sabretooth,
Cyber.
Lady Deathstrike.
Yeah, like she can count. Okay.
Silver Samurai?
Silver Samurai, why not?
Samurai, maybe.
I mean, he was in the new movie from what I understand,
Not
so.
the hand. The hand,
No,
not
he
the
fought
hand.
the hand. In the new Zeb Wells thing, Team with Electra to fight the hand. In Wilson Fisk and stuff. Okay. LCD.
LCD. Who are some of my favorites? Geist.
Oh, yeah.
Shinobi Shaw and Fugue.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going off Adamantium Rage here because there were some really good bio screens in that game. But I still hate you.
No, Adamantium Rage was awesome.
Mm-hmm. Should we explain who LCD is? I don't care.
No, she's a robotic doll that'll latch onto you and blow up.
And she was also Wolverine's foster daughter or something. I don't know. I don't care.
But Dog, Wolverine's brother, came back. It's cool.
Oh yeah, for the final story of Wolverine in the future. Yeah, his brother had electric powers or something.
Mm-hmm.
But, and after all, I mean, amongst
dark again.
kayfabe.
What?
Kayfabe. We don't tell them that.
What? I'm scared.
We don't tell them that. They can still see you.
Okay.
All right. But is Wolverine overrated? Are we tired of Wolverine at this
Wolverine's
point?
not overrated. I mean, he probably hasn't saturated the market as much as other characters have in the past. Spider-Man was saturated in the market at one time. So was Punisher. Venom was. Venom.
Yeah. Oh yeah, very much.
Venom made an appearance in every single Marvel book you can imagine, and on top of his series of limited series.
Which was an interesting structure, and I wish they could bring that back.
Oh yeah, This goes out to Cullen Bunn. You have to bring back some of those villains like Pyre, Mace,
Mace especially, Colin, please.
Doctor Yes from
Maybe.
Boss of Bosses or the
remember
Wolverine.
in
It's
the
Venom the
latter-
Boss. It was
yes.
this 2-part series. Everyone forgets Doctor Yes, because it was a play on Doctor No.
And James Bond.
Because
he was working for the government.
he became a government agent.
I remember it was Venom, Tooth and Claw
With
was
a
the
license
integral.
to eat your brain.
Yeah, Venom Tooth and Claw was the integral storyline that led into that, featuring
Yeah,
Wolverine.
Wolverine.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean, Circle of Life, peeps.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, Wolverine too was guest starring everywhere,
everywhere. Yeah,
major. I mean,
and you still get that in like Ultimate Spider-Man and Marvel Team Up. The elites are going to show up. You know, it's probably a rare thing that
yeah. You know what
War
kind of
Machine is going to team up with Spider-Man or anybody in a
kind of a quick
team up fight,
injustice in my
or
mind.
with Gambit to go on an adventure.
I think Fox owns the X-Men and Wolverine rights, and then
Hmm.
the Avengers. I mean, Wolverine's an Avenger now, so he's appearing everywhere. Maybe when you become an Avenger, you do become overexposed and oversaturated, but
Yeah.
his Avengership is great. I mean, some of the best stuff is not him fighting with his claws, but he's in the kitchen bickering with Carol Danvers about who ate her lunch. I mean, that's just scary.
Hmm.
You know, it's
Something I
just
want,
awesome.
yeah, but something I want to touch on. What could have almost killed Wolverine is the way they handled things in the previous two X movies, Origins and X3. And X-Men Origins, I don't know, it's a good popcorn movie, but it might not have. It's not the best continuity would have asked for. What are
Origins
your thoughts?
Wolverine.
Yes.
Yeah, it was okay. The kid in the beginning played young James Howlett could not act at all.
No.
The gem of that movie was Liev Schreiber as Sabretooth. He was just
Yes.
delicious.
Yeah. He should come
Um,
back.
X-Men Origins Wolverine, the game, is still one of my favorite video games of all time. That was a case where the movie adaptation game is better than the movie itself.
Yeah.
But I'm not one of these fanboys who's going to bag on X-Men Origins Wolverine. Too many people have done that already. I mean,
Yeah. It's all been said. But you know what that movie needed? What disappointed me is that the rabbit hole didn't go deep enough. The conspiracy did not have pulling the strings, as always was the case when I was growing up. Sinister.
Mr. Sinister.
Yes.
Yeah.
He should have
Okay.
been involved. They should have been some mention of Nathaniel Essex, and I'm the only
One of the
geek
things
probably complaining about that.
William Stryker was kind of
I'm
a
serious.
third or fourth rate character in the comic books, and
Yeah.
the movies brought him to badassery and
Yeah.
prominence. So,
And Danny Houston.
Danny Houston's wonderful. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was wonderful as Stryker. So was Brian Cox. I mean,
That's-
just the cinematic treatment of that character is
Yeah.
fantastic.
Better than it deserves, I think.
Well, he wasn't a military man in the comic books. He was actually a preacher.
Hmm.
And the basis of his ire wasn't Wolverine in the comics. It was actually Nightcrawler. It was a one-shot graphic novel.
Yeah. And that touches on a few notable stories, a few notable artists, a few notable characters. What are some of your other favorite Wolverine stories?
Frank Miller in Japan, you could say. The original Brood story. John Byrne and stuff, and
Yeah.
where
John Byrne is one of the perennial par excellence of Wolverine artists and writers. He wrote it
Days
too,
of
right?
Future Past, Wolverine. I don't know what.
Chris Claremont. That was Chris
Yep,
Claremont when
Chris,
he was done on
Chris
X-Men.
Claremont.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who also had a hand in the cartoon in the '90s, and that's why Sinister was in everything because he created Sinister. You're a
Yeah.
genius, Claremont.
Yeah, I don't think a Sentinel could flash fry Wolverine though.
Mm-mm. Maybe at that age. Maybe he's just too old.
Well, no, the healing factor should keep him perpetually young. I mean, it also guards him against, he smokes and stuff. And he's perpetually like 35 years old.
Mm. Forever young. Sorry, Rod Stewart moment.
Okay.
Wolverine probably listens to Led Zeppelin.
Hmm.
Don't worry. I don't listen to Rod Stewart. What are you talking about? Downtown Train wasn't an awesome song.
No, yeah.
A Wolverine story I really loved. Do you remember Not Dead Yet and McLeish the White Ghost? In the late '90s, it was a
You'd have to refresh
four-issue
my
arc.
memory.
It was a 4-issue arc of somebody from Wolverine's past, the Scottish guy who came back and his back was broken by a motorcycle by Wolverine, and he had like adamantium clips because he thought Wolverine still had the adamantium claws, and
Hmm.
there was like a Japanese mafia connection, and it was just more of Wolverine's past coming back to haunt him, just knowing more of his connections, more of his adventures, and just more of his not his sins, but just how things catch up to him. And it was a very well done story. He spat blood on the ground. McLeish was like a drunkard and a cripple and whatever.
Yeah.
Whee!
We're back.
We're back.
Camino Mountain Dew. I need energy to finish this show, guys.
Yep.
Because, Wolverine makes me thirsty.
Yep. Why should you? If you have a healing factor, would you be thirsty?
No, I think, wouldn't a healing factor take care of all your nutrition needs?
Yeah, like the Earth's yellow sun.
Yeah, sure.
Well, we are reaching the half-hour point. If you haven't tuned out already.
Yeah.
Uh, Yeah, it's about time we just wrap it up. And
Well, yeah, peeps. I mean, Wolverine, great character. I
Mhm.
mean, he's someone you can ramble on and on about. I mean,
yeah,
you could do a show, an individual show about any facet of Wolverine's character. You know,
yeah.
Hugh Jackman's performance, film criticism, adamantium claws versus bone
I'll get
claws,
on that.
pro and con.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like the healing factor was
The
better with the bone
which
claws, but
costume
it
is
was less
better, the
powerful.
brown or the yellow? With
Yeah.
the first one, I would the X Men animated show was my first major introduction to Wolverine. Knew who he was before, but that just that yellow costume with the tiger stripes.
Yeah, they bring it back every so often, but it's like, oh, spandex, are you kidding me? The leather's cool. I like the new, more of the reverse of the blue and yellow with the stripes that they got going on right now in the uniform in the comics.
There's only one
But
thing that would make Wolverine cooler than he is: if he shot bow and arrow.
yes, he should be able to shoot the claws from his hands.
Oh, that's like a geek dream, man. I wrote a bunch of fan fictions when I was a kid. Oh yeah, he could regrow claws and he could shoot them as projectiles. I mean that's geekful wishful thinking. I don't know if it
Yeah,
ever happened in the comic books, but
having the weapon that
it
handy,
would be
but
cool.
it blew people's minds that the claws were in him from the first place, right?
Yeah, I mean everyone thought they were in the gloves at first. Wolverine's manacled to the wall. Watched somebody's tormenting Jean Grey or something. I'm trying to remember, and they were shocked when he didn't have the gloves. Oh, he could use
Mhm.
those, but they came right out of his hands. Ah!
Yeah, and then artists just got grimmer as time went on, and you started seeing bits of flesh hanging off the claws, which was pretty cool,
Yeah,
especially in the bone days.
I mean, if the thing you can say about Wolverine today, and possibly in the movies too, is he's been domesticated. He's a headmaster of a school now. He has responsibilities, and he has to have a sense of responsibility and set an example for these
Yeah.
young, impressionable minds at the Jean Grey School.
hmm
So he can't be as violent and as cussy as he
Yep.
was before.
Yep. Well, as handy as claws are as a weapon, we don't have a weapon handy to keep going, so we're just going to leave it at that.
Okay.
See the
See
new
it.
Wolverine movie. It is awesome. And remember, snicked.
Snicked. See you next time, peeps.